Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka BatBomb82, and recently I hooked up some friends over at Odd Frog Entertainment to get my hands on their new 1/12 scale Bandito vehicle. Now this thing is very impressive. Now keep in mind this is just a prototype because this is something that they want to get into production. So I'm just super stoked that I was able to get it in hand to have a really nice photo shoot session and get some really cool pictures and see what this thing can do. So I really just want to share that information with you guys. So starting off, I just like the overall look of a badass muscle car. This thing will come in like a semi-matte black color, which is going to be really nice if you want to do customizing and things like that. But I also just love the lines and the shapes of this thing, giving us an old Chevy type of look and a feel to it, which I think is really cool. And I love old school Chevys. But again, the streamline of this looks so awesome. Those subtle curves look great. I love how this whole design came out. What I also like is just things like the detailing in the wheels looks really cool. You got that black rim with those little touches of metallic silver. Now again, all this is just like hand painted and stuff, so you might see little nicks and things like that throughout this video. But I also love just minor details, like if you look inside the brake calipers, you got the Odd Frog name in there. I think that's pretty subtle and a very cool little like Easter egg. Moving on to other details, I love the hood scoop and you can actually see the engine peeking through the scoop. I think that's really cool. You do have some wiper detailing that don't actually function, but they are there. And then you got some side mirrors, which are really nice. And then the mirrors will actually be a reflective material, so that's actually really cool. But I also really love the front end of this car with the grille and those lights, which are really nice. I love the license plate, the 112 BDTO, so the 112 Bandito. I think that's super awesome. And then the tail end of the car looks really nice too. Again, those really nice red tail lights, the license plate, the back bumpers, all that super cool looking. Even looking at the underneath of the car, we can see the entire chassis with the axles. I love how we can see all the pipes running through from the front to the back to the exhaust. We can even see the gas tank and things like that. Lots of great detail just for even under the car, which again really adds to the realism and just the fun factor for me when they have stuff like that. Moving on to the interior, you can see the inside of the door with the door handle that's non-functioning, but also the fact they included the little roll-up window handle. That's a very cool little detail. Moving on to the dash area, we can see the whole console, like the radio and things like that, a glove compartment, all the different gauges and little Easter eggs inside those as well. We even have a shifter knob and you can see more of the steering wheel area and things like that. Very cool looking stuff. But I also love the fact that we have this really cool seating area, and if you look at the chairs, they can actually slide to the front to fit a better, more of a tighter fit for smaller figures, or you can move them back for a little bit of a taller figure, which is actually really nice. So I do love that quite a bit, that it's actually functional, and again, you can fit different size figures in there. So the seats itself, the front seats, can be removed completely. So you can just take those out, and those look really nice too. They're going to be done in a black, but those are going to be held via a magnet, which is going to be really nice. And you can see the magnets will be held in this little track, and that's what's going to be able to let the seat slide back and forth. So that's actually just very, very cool. Moving on to the back of the car, you can see that we do have a functioning trunk, and I do love the fact that the interior of the trunk is going to have this like felt-like material, which is going to really again add to the realism of this. I think that's super dope. And what's really cool is you actually fit a full figure in there if you really want to. So if you're kidnapping somebody or whatever, you can do that, or just do what I did and just load it up with a bunch of weapons for a specific figure, and I think that comes out pretty badass. Moving on to the front of the car, we actually do have a functioning hood that actually holds up and stays there very, very well. But I love the look of this engine, man. That silver, the little bit of red there, that thing looks awesome. I love the little air intakes at the top there. That is just so badass. But I also love the little car battery on the side that actually does have a function, and that's really, really cool. Now, what we do have here, the engine is removable. We can actually take that whole thing out, and underneath the engine itself is going to be a battery compartment for 2 AA batteries. That is because this thing actually does have a light up feature. Now what's actually really nice, the little car battery I told you that has a function, if you actually push that thing, it does make a little click, that is going to be the on and off switch for the LED feature. So when you move up to the front of the headlights, you could push that thing on and off, and it'll turn the headlights on and off as well. And I don't know, something about that just whole function just feels very satisfying to me, and I love how the lights actually look, which look really nice. Again, they look pretty bright, and when especially in the dark, they look super cool. But I also just love the tail lights as well. Those look really nice. That red translucent plastic that they use for the tail lights looks really good. But it doesn't just end there. If you actually go to the inside of the car and the whole dash, that thing lights up as well, and I just love how that looks too. Again, you can see more of the gauges, a little bit of Easter eggs there. All of that looks amazing. So to give you guys a bit of an idea as far as scale goes, here's the Bandito with a Mezco Blade figure. We also have a Mattel Elite Hulk Hogan figure. We have a Volaverse Action Force figure, and as well as a Mo2 Origins Skeletor, because why not? I freaking love Skeletor. But I also wanted to size it up with some other types of vehicle-like things. So here it is with the HasLab Hiss tank. So for those of you that has a HasLab Hiss tank, you'll know what I'm talking about here. And you can get a better size of scale with this thing. I even put them like tail to tail, or head to tail, I guess I should say. So you can see the length of the car. It's almost the full size of the HasLab Hiss tank itself, which I think is pretty impressive. Then here is the Bandito with a Mezco Ghost Rider. So you can see it next to a 112 scale motorcycle, which is really nice. And again, just for fun, here is the Bandito with a Transformers Masterpiece Optimus Prime, just because I really love that toy and I think it looks really cool. Now we do want to talk about how the figures actually fit inside this car here. So we can see we have a Marvel Legends Deadpool here on the seat, and you can see he fits very, very well. What you do have, again, since that seat is removable, if you do have larger, bulkier figures, you can just take the seat out and have the figures just kind of like almost sit on the floor there if you want to fit them in snugly. And you can see I have a Mezco Blade here, which looks really nice. You can close the door up and he looks really good. But I want to throw in some other figures here, like here's a Mezco Pink Skull that fits really nice. We have a Mezco Punisher. We have a Mezco TMNT Donatello, which I absolutely love those figures. We have that Elite Hulk Hogan. He is a larger figure, so that fits in there pretty nicely. I even decided to put in a Mythic Legions Pixis, because then these are larger scale figures. And surprisingly, even a McFarlane Multiverse Blue Beetle that fits in there, and that thing is huge. So I was also given an official image from Oddfrog. We can see that the Bandito is 18.5 inches in length. We can see that it is 5.5 inches in height, and then 6.5 inches in width, which I think is a very nice size. And trust me, once I first opened this thing up, I just realized how big this thing was, and I was like, oh my god, this is a massive and really cool looking piece. Now, probably the most fun thing for me is the Bandito is actually going to be pretty heavily modular. So once this thing goes in production, they actually do plan on giving us additional customizing kits. So here we have things like the Lowrider kit, which is going to come with like more Dayton spoke-like rims, side skirts, new bumpers and a hood, new steering wheels and things like that to really give it a more Lowrider feel. You know, if you want to paint this thing up a different color or, you know, pinstripe it and stuff like that, I think that is awesome. But they also have plans to give us a more post-apocalyptic type kit, which has that more cowcatcher type of like front end, you know what I mean? So it's gonna have like guns and roof spotlights and new wheels and tires and a windshield cover. That's so dope. But then they have this more like futuristic one with like laser guns and I guess like a hover type wheels, which is pretty crazy. So stuff like that really makes me feel like this thing is going to be something special once it fully goes into production. You know, you can really make the vehicle that you want. I think that's what a lot of us genuinely do like. And again, just having the whole modular system with all these different accessories to make the action vehicle that you really want to have, I think it's super cool. So there's my early look at the Bandito, and again, keep in mind this is a prototype that I've been handling, so it does have some things that will be worked on and fixed in the future once this thing goes into production. Now I believe they're looking for about 1,500 units to be pre-ordered, which I think is pretty good and pretty doable, honestly, and everything that you're getting here I think is actually really nice. I love the overall size of this thing. It really feels like a big chunky toy, which I think is great. I love the fact that it's a 4-seater, so you can put figures in the front and the back. back. And I also love the fact that the front seats can be removed, so you can maybe fit a larger or taller type of figure. I think that's pretty smart. And just the overall look of it is really cool. I love the LED feature, the fact that the hood can open up and you can actually push the car battery to turn on the LEDs, which I think is really nice, lighting up the front lights, the rear lights, and even the dashboard. I think that's super cool. I love all the space that you get in the trunks. Again, you can fit maybe 1 or 2 figures in there, or all kinds of accessories. That's really badass. But I think the big selling point for me is going to be the modularity and the customizations you can do with this thing. You know, hopefully we can get those kits later on. I think that's so awesome. You can really make the vehicle that you want. That's a big selling point for someone like me who loves just adding their own little touch to things. I think that's really rad. So I will leave links in bios to Oddfrog's social media, the site in order to pre-order the Bandito, all that kind of things. So I'm pretty much enjoying what we're seeing here. I really want to get my hands on a production piece. I think that's going to be really cool. So if you're interested, go ahead and click those links below and check out all these pictures that I took of the Bandito that I think you'll enjoy. So don't forget to be excellent to each other and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.